whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds a gift. He knowing when to go with fit. So we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we en route. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't wanna overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited, league gon' notice now. You should notarize it. They say Tua from that rock. Shout out to Samoa and Islands. Time to lay the smack down. You think he Dwayne Johnson? Time to be the people's champ. Hit him with the people's elbows. Sit together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no. All day I dream about sports. I think I need some chateau custom with some Dolphins colors. Just to let them know we here. Yeah. I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Miami Sports Fanatic Show on Primetime with your host, GOT. What's up, Batman, man? How's it going? I don't want to take too long here, but how you doing, my man?
Long day at work, but I'm excited. I'm humbled. I'm really excited for our special guest. It's amazing. So, yeah, just very excited.
Yeah, man. Listen, guys, this has been a very blessed week. So without further ado, let's get those likes up and please subscribe. If you're on Facebook and Twitter, hit that like button over there as well and jump over to the YouTube side. Hit those likes buttons, man, and help us grow. Let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend himself. What is up, Big O?
What's up? The old man is in, right? Because that's what legend and myth and all that other thing is tied to. That means you've been around a little while. So good evening, boys. Hope you're doing well.
I already messed up, man. I made the Big O feel old, man. I already messed up, man. That's it.
I know I'm already old. So it's all good, bro. It's all good. It's all good. We've been around the block a couple times. Let's rock and roll, man.
Let me toss this first question that I had here because I was gonna make you feel older. So let's scratch that one up. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, you need no introduction, man. You are the best South Florida sports radio show, my man. I mean,
I appreciate
I
that.
watch you on a daily basis. I live in Reno. By the time you do your shows, it's like sometimes you go at 6:40, but religiously you're on at 7 o'clock my time, which is about 10 o'clock your time. There's a 3-hour difference. And I'm cooking breakfast every morning while you're just, doing your thing. And I love it, man. I love it.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Batman, what about you, man? I know you guys are in the same time zone. So
Yep.
So it's an honor.
We'll be in Vegas next month for the summer league. So we'll be out there for 10 days from the 5th through the 15th, actually. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an honor. We've been listening to you forever. 32 years experience. It's just humbling. You talk. You emphasize so many specifics on all the South Florida sports. You definitely have a great knowledge on all the teams and players. You speak your mind, and that's something that it holds a lot of weight in this business. And granted, everyone, like I said, has a difference of opinions when it comes to topics, especially the sports that we cherish and we love and the teams we care about. And, I love that you speak your mind, you speak facts, you speak with facts. And I love how you come on a daily basis like that too. And as far as what you tell, everyone else that you're following. And I appreciate that.
Bro, we try, my brother, but it's sports. We're going to agree. We're going to disagree. And, that's kind of the way it goes. You're never going to get everything right. You're never going to have a real good feel for everything that's going on. And before you know it, the wheels come off, or before you know it, the Wildcat works and your season turns around and you have this magical year. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of sports sometimes, that it throws us off balance a little bit, and certain things happen that you don't expect, good or bad. But we always stay on the hometown teams, and we still try to call it like we see it, obviously, but we're not going to sit here and try to stir shit up. I don't know if you guys mind if I say,
of course.
But we're not going to sit here and stir crap up just to stir it up, and then, oh no, let's try to find a way to spin Tua into this way to get conversation, and that's just not what I do. I've told my producers over the years, you don't have to create controversy. It'll come to you constantly. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry. Deshaun Watson's going to come your way. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. I'm going to be covering a Tony Martin money laundering case back in the, I think it was very early 2000s or something. We're going to have Bullygate. Stuff's going to happen on its own, dude. You don't need to stir it up. And that's kind of what's happened in this 24-hour cycle that we're in now. And because you're on for 24 hours, you've got a group of producers behind the scenes that are just coming up with all kinds of subjects and ways to stir it up. And then the hosts have to go and run with it. And then that's what they have to do in order to stir things up. Oh, did you hear what they said about this and that? And that's kind of what they're doing. It's just trolling. Really, that's kind of what TV and radio has kind of become. It's either the callers are trolling or the hosts, Skip Bayless or something like that. You just professionally troll something. We'll troll the Cowboys, we'll troll LeBron, we'll troll this. And that's kind of what, that's kind of what it's turned into. And it makes money. People go with it. So, but on my show for 32 years, I've focused on the South Florida teams. I talk about the national stories, but I just call it the way I see it, and that's it. And you might agree and you might disagree, and that's the beauty of sports. And that's just kind of the way we lay it out. And then people will interpret it however they want to. When you think something's going wrong, well, then you're a hater. If you think something's going to be fantastic, then you're a homer, right? Because that's what I am. I'm a homer because I think Tua's going to play well. I'm a hater because I never thought Tannehill was going to be ever a quarterback. You know what I mean? I never thought he was going to ever be a franchise guy, but I'm a hater, and so that's just kind of the way, and that's the way sports radio is.
You're 100% right, man. And to piggyback on that, you're right. Your show, which is one of the reasons I love it, is because you speak not only from a fanatic's perspective, but with merit. I felt the same way, and I gotta say, Tannehill, because you listen. I remember. I just gotta say this real quick because I was really young when I first called in to your radio show to talk about Tannehill, and you might not remember. I know at that time you got thousands of callers.
That was when they used to take calls.
Well, I believe you're right. My intro name, because they tell you, hey, what's your name, this and that. I used to go off as Sci-Fi Geo.
Okay.
You probably don't remember that. That was many years ago, man.
I can't say I do, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh yeah, I remember. No. I'm terrible with names. It is. I gotta I'm good with faces. But in order for me to remember your name, I got to see you several times, or if not, I suck with names. And so, by the way, just in general, for everybody that's ever met me, I don't remember your name the first or second time. It's just something that I need habitually to be reminded, face and name, and then I remember overall. So it's not me being rude, by the way. It's just I'm bad.
No, we get it, man. Listen, I don't think anyone in the community that knows you will ever take it offensively. But you're right. For those who, for some reason, are outside of the bubble and don't know South Florida sports, they might. But regardless, I remember calling in, and that was finally the moment where I'm like, you know what? Big O is right, because I realized that Tannehill was never going to pick up that pocket presence awareness.
Right.
And you called it. You called it. You were on the money from the get-go. It's not that you were a hater. You just knew that intangible, which is one of the most important things out there. And you talked about this with Tua.
Right. Well, and the new guy now for me that I've mentioned the last couple of years is Lamar Jackson. It's the same thing. Lamar Jackson is an athlete playing quarterback. It's the same thing. He'll never naturally beat you from that pocket with his arm. Right. And I know he's a freak athlete and he'll put up his points and all that because he's, hard to catch and all that. But in the end, he's not going to beat you from the pocket. And that's my problem with Ryan. Ryan was never going to beat you from the pocket because naturally it doesn't come to him. But athletes will freak you out and they'll do things at times that will fool you to think that they're that guy. And the Lamar Jacksons will fool you. The Michael Vicks will fool you. The Ryan Tannehills will fool you. And so they'll shine every once in a while because they're athletes. And we all had that when we went to the park. And there's 6 or 8 of us, and we want to play 3-on-3 and 4-on-4. There's only one guy. Usually, there's only one guy that can really sling it and have some touch and all that. And then the guy that's on the other team either has a cannon or whatever, or he's kind of smart, but he's limited in arm strength or something. But he's playing quarterback, and you always want to play with the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of how it is. Either you have it or you don't, but some guys will get by on some kind of ability, and that's what those kind of guys get by on. And then, so again, you're called a hater,
But you're still right. You're still right, because even to this day, it holds true, and that's his downfall. Right. And even listen, as much as he tries to mask it, it comes to the time where it shows up. It's a highlight.
Lamar's the same thing. They figure out the run on Lamar. They stop the Ravens, and then they say, "Okay, Lamar, let's go. You got to beat us with your arm." And they said, "No, we can't beat you with the arm." And then that's when it's over. So
yeah, I agree, man. Batman, what you got, man? Because you know me. If you keep letting me, it's gonna be by accident. Me and the Big O, the rest of the show.
So I understand the whole Tannehill conversation. I was a fan of Tannehill. Obviously, going into the later years, I started to see what you were talking about. Granted, the biggest issue we have in the community, as far as the Dolphins community, is that we as fans, some of us, we suffer from post Tannehill stress disorder.
From everything.
Way before Tannehill.
People are afraid to give. Yeah. And the issue though, that people that we gave Tannehill 7 years. They feel like that's what we're going to give Tua, and they don't want to do that because of the whole Tannehill situation. So I tell people, listen, what we see from Tua year 2 is already better than what we saw with Tannehill in year 6 and 7.
Light years.
So it's like,
so he had the worst line in the NFL and was the least sacked quarterback.
Right. So it's a lot of
presence.
Exactly.
So give him a line so he doesn't have to figure.
I think what 22 sacks. Yeah.
I think 20 or 20. I think it might have been 20, but whatever, 22 sacks. He was the least sack quarterback behind the worst line, and they had the worst pass blocking rate in the NFL. They were the worst, and they couldn't run the ball. It's like some people tell me, well, some guy on the show the other day, well, Joe Burrow, and I go, yeah, he had Joe Mixon that got 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns. Ask me, does Tua have somebody he can hand it off to? Is there at least Lamar Smith here? Okay, he's not even Joe Mixon, but I'll take Lamar Smith. But Lamar Smith
was crazy.
There was Jamie Nails, and there were other things going on. That's why he was so good. There were other factors that helped him out. Look, man, Matthew Stafford had bad years, had great years, never got over the hump until he got with a team. That's just the way it goes. Our guy Marino never got over the hump because they didn't give him a defense, they didn't give him a running game, and they really didn't give him the right side of the line. To be quite honest, let's just call it like we see it. It was a great line on the left side, really on the right side throughout his career. It was really just those two guys on the left that were absolute studs, but the rest of the line wasn't that. Every quarterback needs help, and you gotta at least put them in a position to be successful. And the problem we have, in this world, again, it comes with trolling and narratives. And so this comes in all walks of life, whether it's entertainment, whether it's politics, whether it's sports, whatever it is, we build our narratives and we go through them no matter what the facts are. And that's the problem. Okay, no, it's an excuse for Tua. What, it's an excuse that he didn't have an offensive line, or is that a fact? Wait a minute. It's an excuse that he didn't have a running game? Is that an excuse, or is that a fact? Well, I'm sorry. I got to look at the stat. They say it's a fact, right? Okay, is it an
well, they go now. People say stats are for losers.
Right. Well, but see, but that stats are for losers. But dude, you were playing with a bunch of losers, unfortunately, and you gotta also say, what did you have an experienced quarterback coach? Did you have an experienced offensive line coach? Did you have an experienced offensive coordinator? So how in the hell was that supposed to work? So who the hell in the history of the NFL puts together an offensive coordinator that's never been really an offensive coordinator in the NFL? And it was the Three Stooges, by the way, trying to decide a play. A quarterback coach that's never been a quarterback coach in the NFL. A offensive line guy that had no idea what the hell he's doing. That right now he's number 4 in line, like an intern, so he can learn everything. That's where he's at. Here on Flo's team, he was the number 1 guy. On Mike McDaniel, you're like, dude, you're just above a quality control coach. That's where he's at right now, because he's got to learn he's in school right now to learn how they do things. So that's what he's there for. So that was going to work, or are those like facts, or are those like
that's 100% factual?
And so it's a narrative. It's a narrative that you build, right? Because then they say, "Oh, well, Joe Burrow had a terrible line." Yeah, but he had a running back that made them better, that he can at least hand it off. And he had the best receiving core in the NFL, second, third best receiving core in the NFL, which I just saw a rating right now, a ranking. They had them number 1. The Dolphins, by the way, moved up to number 5 now, which is really nice. But again, that's the problem here. It's all about creating narratives. You know what I mean? And then, it's okay. So you compare him to Herbert. I get it, dude. Herbert is like, if you built the perfect quarterback, that's the dude. 6'5", can run, can throw it through the stadium. I get all of that, dude. I understand that. But I also understand he had a way better wide receiving core. He had a running game. He had better offensive coaches. He had a better situation, so he had better opportunity to succeed.
2 great receivers.
Right. Yeah. He had 3 receivers actually on the team. And
you're right.
And the running back is actually a pretty damn good little player, dude, that doesn't get enough. Austin Eckler doesn't get enough credit.
Eckler's a thumper.
And he's a fantastic receiver also out of the backfield. And the Jackson kid that backed him up was also pretty good too. But anyway, so the bottom line is, you look at some of the other situations and they're better. Okay, so does Trevor Lawrence suck? No, dude. Trevor Lawrence and Tua kicked ass when they had people around them that were real coaches, real offensive coordinators, real talent. They go to Jacksonville and they go to Miami, and actually Tua put up better stats when we look at the efficiency of it. His efficiency was actually better. But are you going to give up on Trevor Lawrence? No, dude, it's his environment that ruined Trevor Lawrence last year. And that's what happens. You must help your quarterback with the environment. This is where I give the Ravens a lot of credit. While I don't believe Lamar Jackson will ever turn into a great passer, at least I give them the credit that they said, we're going to build the line, we're going to build the running game, we're going to give them a bunch of tight ends, so it's high percentage passes to either running backs to tight ends, or they're all running the game. And then on wide receiver, when everybody always says, oh, they never spend on the outside. Why? Because they know what he is, dude. It's not, why are you going to waste all that money on those guys when he can't find them downfield and all that? So you've got to work the game around them, and God bless them, they work it to his strengths. The Tennessee Titans, they only asked Tannehill to make a couple of throws. It's
20
throws. Yeah, and the 20 throws, 15 of them, 16 of them are really easy. They're really only asking him to make 3 or 4 throws in a game. And to his credit, he can do that when everything's on script and everything's fine. When chaos happens, brother, you put Tannehill on that team last year, he has 20 sacks. Buddy, he has 120 sacks. Okay, he was the most sacked quarterback, or second most sacked quarterback last year, with 2 running backs. Not one, not 2. He had 2 running backs, dude. He had Henry and then Foreman. Foreman was better than anything we had here in Miami. And still, with the best running game in the NFL, the dude was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. How does that make sense?
The crazy thing, people still don't want to admit. Yeah, and they don't want to admit too, Mike Gesicki. This is why I love that Mike Gesicki came out and say we didn't game plan for the weather. Like, what more do you need to hear when your own offensive player is saying we didn't game plan? And you saw it. We were still within that striking distance. Not to dive too much into that Tennessee game, but we got outcoached.
And you're supposed to run in that game, not keep
1,000%.
Yep.
We took it away.
And we're like idiots throwing the ball. And it's like, come on, man. But that's, again, you had a remedial coaching staff last year on the offensive side of the ball. And that's why Mike McDaniel is here, because it looks to me like his coaching staff is actually a responsible coaching staff, and it's well put together. And there's a lot of experience, dude, from the quarterback coach to the offensive line coach, the tight ends coach, Mike McDaniel himself. These are tried and true people that have already run their system on several teams. So now if the defense can do a decent job, and they should be better with a better offense, if special teams gets back on track again, then the Dolphins should be in the playoffs this year. But at least judge Tua when he has something around him to work with. Don't judge him when he has absolutely nothing. Look, everybody wants Superman back there. And I get it, man. I get it. It's really cool when Ben Roethlisberger is back there and there's 3 guys draped over him and he's throwing a 35-yard strike. I know Tua will never do that. I understand all of that. But there's lots of his game. Yeah. There's lots of quarterbacks from Drew Brees to Roger Staubach to Fran Tarkenton to Bob Greasy to Chad Pennington. The league is littered with players. Peyton Manning didn't have a lot of athleticism, but he was smart and had a really good arm. And he was a big guy, but he's not going to be also with 8 guys draped over him, because that's not what he wants. And everybody wants the guy that can run a 4.4 and, dodge people and all that stuff. If you're smart enough from the pocket, if you know how to read defenses, if you know how to react, if you have anticipatory skills, if you know ball placement, you will kill it in football at every single level. And that's what all those guys, yes, I'm old, but let's bring it full circle. I'm 55. So yes, I saw from Bob Greasy, and I saw Fran Tarkenton, and I saw Roger Staubach, and I saw the kind of guys that weren't necessarily these incredible, Dan Marinos and John Elways and Steve Bartkowskis of that era. And I've seen the Drew Breeses in this era. I've seen those kind of guys that can succeed, and they don't have to be all world as athletes. And there's a ton of all world athletes with arms of God, and they can't play the quarterback position. Mm-hmm. So just give this kid a chance, and then let's find out if he can actually play. I believe he's going to be a stud. Mm-hmm. I believe he'll be a top 10 quarterback with the right coaching and the people around him. Joe Montana did not possess Justin Herbert's skills, Dan Marino's skills, John Elway's skills. He did not possess Pat Mahomes' skills, Russell Wilson's skills at all, but he's better than most of them because, and by the way, he had Rice and Taylor, and he had Bill Walsh and all that, just like Terry Bradshaw had an arsenal, just like Kurt Warner had an arsenal. Lots of quarterbacks get help, but can you make the plays when you have to make the plays? And those kind of guys made the plays. I believe Tua is going to be the same dude because he was there in Alabama with real coaching, real offensive linemen, real wide receivers, and he did the job every single time.
The only great at doing it too.
Tua is injuries. That's the only thing that's legit in my book.
My thing, and again, I say this, we haven't had a top offense in the Miami Dolphins since 1995. On paper, we look great. Obviously, we got to put it all together. Our defense is top 5. We're not going to sit here and argue that. I agree with special teams. We need to touch that up. I don't want to dismiss it too much. We need, since we Jakeem Grant was getting paid like a wide receiver, but Jakeem Grant was good for us back there. You know what I mean? We need to see who's going to be that person to step up now in special teams. But putting it all together.
By the way, he was there, what was it, 4 or 5 years? I looked it up. You know, it was like 5 or 6 fumbles in the end.
Yes, he did.
We were complaining about over a few years span, which I was a Jakeem guy. I would have stuck with him because he does something that most people don't do. And hell, he was the only guy that could score off a punt return last year in the NFL. One. You know what I mean? But again, Flo. I mean, Flo scares away Minka, and he, you know, it's just that we had a guy that was really disruptive, you know, with human beings, and that was the problem. He wasn't a people person. He didn't know how to connect with people, and that was a real problem for him.
So what I wanted to ask you, Bigo, tying everything, you know, as far as the team on paper, in your history of watching and talking about the Finns in this community, is this one of the best constructed rosters you've seen?
Yes, I do like the way this roster has been constructed. There's the obvious questions. Okay. The offensive linemen have to come through. You now have moved Connor Williams to a position that, while he loves it and he wants to attack it, and he was even tried in it in Dallas the year before, but he's played guard, it's still an experiment now. So we have to see that, and then we have to see all the other guys play. We know that Teron Armstead can play. His problem is staying healthy. You know what I mean? Right. And then we have to – Mike McDaniel has to prove that he can coach. Right. My problem with the Dolphins under Flo, there was no the play calling, the play design was absolutely terrible. And they didn't know how to set one play up from another. They didn't know how to give their players an advantage at times. They didn't know how to keep the defense off balance. They'd get lucky a few times in a game, but not enough to call it a real offense. And so McDaniel does that. I mean, there's that film that the dude with the bent up finger, what's his name now? The lineman, Baldy's breakdowns.
Baldwinger, right?
Yeah, Brian Baldinger. He has, I don't know if you guys have found this.
I did. I saw it.
You saw it? It's
yes.
If you haven't seen it, Brian Baldinger did like a 9-minute video or 8-minute video or something like that. So it's a short video, but there's like 50 plays in there. And it shows how McDaniel schemes shit and throws everybody off balance. And they have to make it up, and it gives their players an advantage. That's coaching, dude. Play design is coaching. There's intelligence behind it. It's a chess match. And we didn't have that. We had idiots playing checkers, and everybody else was playing chess. And that was our problem. And I think that's what's going to change now.
You know, and to piggyback on that, Big O, it amazed me how, and this seems to be the problem with the fan base, on top of hearing awful hot takes, because let's be honest, you know, not to trash. I know, listen, I hope your insiders don't get upset about this, but not specifically your insiders, but media. And I don't want to group your insiders because, yes, they work for the media. I'm talking about ESPN, the Mike Florios, the Chris Sims out there, the Stephen A. Smiths, Skip Baylesses. It's all full of hot takes now with no merit, no facts behind it. Right. And this is why you kind of see when it comes to content for fan bases, a lot of people are just coming in waves to YouTube to listen to their own fans give content on their own teams, because it's getting to the point where you're not going to get deep, insightful content on sports media anymore, at least in national sports outlets. So I'm glad you said that. And another thing I wanted to touch on, I didn't understand how not many fans were noticing that our offense last year weren't scheming guys open.
Oh, God.
Because they couldn't get separation. And on top of all that, how many times did you see wide receivers end their routes 2 yards away from each other? Time and time again. They were like, it was ridiculous. It was upsetting. And then on top of that, whenever Tua tried to use his legs and get some extra time, the receivers would stop running. And it's like what's going on here?
It wasn't a well-coached team at any level on offense. And the problem was Flo which is one of the things that we identified on the show early on, was that his problem is he can't build a staff. If you can't build a staff, if you can't build staffs, you can't be a head coach, because you're going to fire people or you're going to lose them to promotions. You know, Mike Vrabel lost Arthur Smith to head coaching to the Falcons. Fantastic offensive coordinator, fantastic play designer. And then he had to go find somebody else and try to keep it going. And that's Vrabel's job. So you can't build just one staff. You have to identify and find multiple staffs throughout your history, because you're going to have to turn people over, because you're going to lose them. It's part of life one way or another. And he could not do that. And that's where we're going to see if Mike McDaniel put, together a hell of a staff. And that's all part of it, man. If you don't have the people that can get the job done, forget about it. It becomes incompetent. And that's exactly what we've had. And we've had really good, we've had Changeli here. We've had Norv Turner here. We've had guys in the past that are really good offensive coordinators. I know exactly what a good offensive coordinator looks like. And Flo, he didn't bring Changeli here. That was the front office that made the move to bring him here. And then he obviously effed up that relationship, because Chan was like, yeah, year's enough. I'm out of here. They brought him out of retirement. They had to bring him out of retirement because Flo can't find anybody.
Well, and they brought Changeli in here with the promise that Tua was going to sit out that whole first year. Yeah. So, I mean, you bring this guy out of the dead, kind of, like he's just sitting at home, and then
against the Rams.
Yes. Yeah. Which, by the way, first play of the game, welcome to the NFL, right? And with all that being said,
Gator bait. Hey, are you going to the Florida swamps? Are you going to hunt? Take your buddy with you and throw him over his gator baits.
Without a guys.
That was Flo. I truly feel, because as I reported a long time before everybody else, he never wanted Tua at all, and I knew he wanted Jordan Love a long time ago.
And you got confirmation from Omar.
Yeah. Well, I didn't need confirmation from Omar. It was just that Omar was the first media member to find out, because I couldn't say anything. I told everybody for a long time, hey, I won't tell you, but he wanted another quarterback, and wait till you find out. I hope you're not driving on the road, because you'll crash. So, and I told everybody he was going to get fired too, on top of all of that, in the middle of the winning streak, which I was driving. By the way, don't listen to my show if you don't want reality. Okay. Right. In the middle of the winning streak, I was telling everybody he was going to get fired.
We have a tough time with that too, Big O, man. Yeah. It gets a little difficult, because you try to create. Well, not you, obviously. You're doing your thing. You're kicking ass.
I knew what the hell was going on behind the damn scenes. That's why what if you watch my show throughout the year, I told Joe Shad, I told Omar Kelly, I told every one of them, he's running roughshod through the building. Go ahead and go find out. Go investigate. I did that many times on my show throughout the year. And then when I would say, he's going to get fired, get out of here. You're crazy. Hey, bro, that's fine.
We've known here at Miami Sports Fanatic Show, like me and Gio, we heard rumblings from early last summer. And obviously we were told, we can't say anything. We weren't even doing a show back then. But, obviously going into the season, rumbling starting to pick up even more from players in the building. Obviously, we don't want to put anybody's business
by the end of last year, they didn't want to work with him anymore.
Correct. That's 100%. And a lot of stuff.
And listen, as I've told this story many times, let's get real. Let's get real now. So Stephen Ross hires Chris Greer, who's a black man last time I checked.
Yes.
And then he hires two more personnel directors who are absolutely fantastic, in Allen and McKenzie, who are, by the way, also black.
Correct.
They draft a minority. They go and hire a minority as head coach. Do you think they wanted this to fail? Out of all the people, out of all the guys, do you think Chris Greer wanted to admit that he failed in getting that guy? No, of course not. And the fact is, this was never tried. You've never had a minority at head coach, a minority as the general manager. you know, and then you've got also the top personnel directors that are also nobody's ever done this. And for this to work, you needed synergy and you needed things to fall into place. And that guy was not willing to work with everybody because he thought, and the good thing, here's where I give Chris Greer a lot of credit. So he screws up. Eventually he has to fix the problem. But the next time around, he learned from what they did with Gase, that they gave him power on top of being a head coach when he hadn't earned it, and they screwed up here with Flo by giving him power. Do you think the head coach wants to bring in Eric Flowers, the general manager wants to bring in Eric Flowers and then have to then trade him and take a cap hit? You think he wants to bring Kyle Van Noy because that head coach wants Kyle Van Noy, and then he and Kyle Van Noy don't see head, and now you got to get rid of him and take another cap hit? Of course not, dude. And then you've got to fight with your head coach because he wants Jordan Love and you guys want Tua. And then it's not just, it's Reggie McKenzie wants Tua, it's Marvin Allen wants Tua, it's Chris Greer wants Tua, and then this guy is fighting these people for that. And that was the problem, that you kept fighting them for certain things. And then you lose Jakeem Grant, you lose, you lose Minka. Because this idiot can't get along with Minka. And because he wants to make him play other positions, and Minka wants to play. Okay, Minka wants to be a bit of a jerk. Okay, fine. You better learn how to deal with jerks. Because Shula dealt with the Marx brothers, who were party animals, and he dealt with all kinds of guys. But dude, if you can play on Sunday, he didn't care. He as long, hey, don't go embarrassing me, but play on Sunday, then let's rock. You could get away with some stuff. And that was Don Shula. But this guy was inflexible, and he was hurting the team more than helping the team. He had to make the change. And
we kind of knew it was going to happen. We kind of knew it was going to happen.
Now let's find out if there's the synergy you need with McDaniel and company.
We can hope. And it feels that way, but at the end we got to put it all in together.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, he's saying all the right things. He's one of the things that I loved about hearing that was refreshing. It's been a while, even before Gase, because you didn't even hear this from Gase really that much. You got a lot of crazy eyes from Gase. No, I'm just playing around. But with Mike McDaniel, he wants a collaborative effort. He wants everyone to feel responsible, and also like nothing gets done without X, Y, and Z. Like, yeah, I'm the head coach, but I need to rely on you. You know, there's no fighting for the egotistical king seat. You know,
he's not walking in going, I'm the end all be all, it's my way or the highway, get the hell out of here. And that just doesn't work in today's world anymore. You got to learn how to work with people, dude. And we have people that they walk into that building and they're from all over the place and they've been raised differently. And man, you better learn how to adjust to communicate with different people if you want to get away. If you want to be a CEO, you want to be a general manager, you want to be a manager, or you want to be a head coach, you better learn how to be a people person. If you're not a people person, you know, the Belichick stuff might catch up to him now. You know, he didn't hire an offensive coordinator now. So he's now coaching the offense too. Now he's doing everything also.
He's getting too cute. He's getting too cute.
Overseeing the defense, overseeing the offense. You didn't see them make a lot of moves. So now all of a sudden, you know, the shine starts to rub off of you because Brady continues to roll and you're not. So that'll catch up to you. You know what I mean?
Eventually, yeah.
So you've got, and so you can get away with the shit that Belichick's gotten away because you have all those rings. So you can be a D-bag and they can't tell you anything. But after a while, if this continues for a couple of years, Kraft will end up making the change because, you know, he's going to say, well, we're stagnant. We're really not doing anything. You're not changing with the times. You're not keeping up. And so that's going to be very interesting to see if this starts to catch up to Belichick now. And that attitude, you know, here's been my theory with New England Patriot coaches. So you go to work for Belichick. He coaches you. He teaches you all that stuff. But you're hidden behind a big building and you never talk to anybody. You never see anybody. So you never develop people skills. So you're never in front of the media every week. And so that's why it's imperative that you put your offensive and defensive coordinators out there, put your position coaches every once in a while, have them take questions and learn how to communicate with people and deal with the public. A lot of these guys, Matt Patricia and McDaniel and Flo and Joe Judge and all these guys, they all ruined it because they had no people skills. And then you thrust them in there and they become the face of your franchise. But then they come their face of your franchise and they act like players the last 15 years. Those kids walk in and they think they're Warren Sapp and they think they're Michael Irvin and Michael Barrow and they think they're Ken Dorsey and Andre Johnson. And dude, you're just wearing the effing helmet. You haven't earned a goddamn thing. And that's the difference there. You got to earn it, man. And just hasn't been there.
Big O, we don't want to take too much of your time. Do you have a little bit more, couple more questions?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just gonna go see the game.
Oh, okay. So question: There's been conflicting reports. We've been hearing things about the development of a lot of these second, third, and guys on the team. With Noah and Trill Williams hoping that they take the next step on this defense. For continuity purposes, making sure you have a role player back there that can actually succeed. And in the event you lose a Howard, you lose a Byron Jones for a game or two, or even a couple of plays.
Right.
What are you hearing personally? Because, like I said, we've heard different things from Travis Wingfield. On Tuesday, we heard from OJ McDuffie, and we're hearing different things. So, what's your perspective on the whole Noah development so far?
My problem with all of this is. I don't overreact about May or June football, man. I'm going to wait till they're actually pads on, and then Noah's playing with a real pass rush, and now we get to see him how he reads and reacts. I love that they're going to practice against two other teams, so that'll be more practice time for him. You don't have to really play X and Byron at all this preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you play him in the final game, a little tune-up. Play him for a quarter or two and get him the hell out of there. But Noah should get a ton of playing time. And now let's find out what happens when he's playing against all these other teams. And there's real football situations. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see when it looks more like reality and he really has to read and react. And that's been his problem. Because he's a receiver, he has to learn how to play like a corner. But the only way he's really going to learn how to play like a corner is by putting him out there and making mistakes. But because you haven't been a bad team since you acquired him and you have two starters on the outside and he's not really a slot guy because he doesn't possess the hips to be able to switch from one side to the other. And you have to have amazing hips to play inside because the receiver can go either way. When you play on the outside, the boundary is half your defender. So you can use that to your advantage when you're on the outside. Hell, some guys can only play on one side. Not only can they not play in the slot, they can't play on the right side. They're only left cornerbacks. They're only right cornerbacks. You know what I mean? So Noah is just considered an outside corner right now. He can't play the slot. So, dude, he gets no playing time. That's why we need to find out now in this preseason, see how he handles and see if there's a change, because remember we just talked about Ryan Tannehill and we just talked about Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson and how they don't have the natural instincts to be a quarterback. Well, it's been done many times where a receiver has converted a corner. Okay, usually bad receivers are made as corners because they can't catch. Because not because
he had one. He had one not that long ago.
Tony Lippett.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's his threshold. He has to see the light. It has to happen where the light goes on and he starts to think like that position. And then because he is blessed with the ability. We had a guy years ago before both of you were born named Paul Langford, and number 44. He had a lot of talent. He was always right around the football. never made a damn play. Well, except for the Kansas City game, the playoff game, early on in Joe Robbie's existence, he didn't bat down a pass in the end zone. But outside of that, he was that guy that would frustrate the crap out of you because you looked at him, you said, dude, he's right there every time, and he had no ball skills. And that was his problem. With Noah, we got to find out if he has the instincts, if he has the ball skills, to play the game. And then we'll find out. But that's only going to happen when he's in real game situations. We will not find out outside of that.
And you're 100% right, because that's been my gripe with Noah. Noah is very athletic. He kind of reminds me a lot like Byron Jones in a sense, where if you look at the times he's been beat, dude was right there. He was always where he was supposed to be. He just couldn't turn his head around or put his hand out, deflect the ball. That's ball instinct, ball skills. So you're right. I mean, and hopefully, which is why I'm excited of the addition of Sam Madison and Pat Surtain, because hopefully if anyone can teach this kid those instincts, if it's not naturally given to you, I think those two can teach it to you.
They can teach him the nuances of it to figure out, when you're running a route with a guy, the experienced guys will juke you and use your eyes to tell you, act like the ball is coming, make you turn just a second, and that's all they need to then get a little more separation, and there goes the ball over you. So you're going to have to learn, which he doesn't play, but he has to learn how to read all those receivers and see how their body language, their eyes, when the ball is really coming, you got to figure out, since your back is turned, you've got to have that instinct. And you've got to know, and you've got to play it right. And he's got to learn how to do that. He's got to learn how to cover. He's got to learn how, when they're going to set him up from one play to another, where they keep running, some kind of a hook, and then he bites again, and then they take it over him, all kinds of things that he's got to learn. I mean, I felt terrible. It was the same thing. You put Tua in with the Rams, like, holy shit, he's got no line, and he's going to play against those guys. Okay, he's going to start against Stephon Diggs. Holy moly, this is one of the 5 best route runners in the NFL.
Of course he's going to get torched.
Listen to me. I didn't say he's one of the 5 best wide receivers, because I know you're going to have a listener going, oh, he's an idiot. He called Stephon Diggs one of the 5 best wide receivers. And I don't know, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But I can tell you he's one of the 5 best route runners in the NFL.
I think there's no argument. In that time, he was top 5.
He will fake your ass out. He is a great route runner. He's been like that since he was in college. That's what made him so attractive to NFL teams. So you're talking about a really smart guy that knows how to run routes and set up a young guy that is learning how to play, the cornerback position. And some of you out there are going to say, but he played receiver. Yeah, but when he played receiver, he was remedial, dude. It was coming out of high school or whatever. When he got to Auburn, they converted him to corner. So he doesn't have even big time receiving experience. It's not like he played receiver in the NFL and they said, you suck. Let's move you over to corner, and then all of a sudden you've played receiver all the way up to the NFL. So that's a different experience and different knowledge of the game at that point. And he doesn't even have that to even fall back on as a corner.
And he's only 22.
He's a baby. The part that sucks, dude, is that you had X arrested and in that domestic issue and all that crap, or investigated or whatever it was. And he also had a knee injury. And then they liked him. They drafted him. They thought, hey, just in case is an insurance policy. X didn't really get injured again, didn't get in trouble again, and you really haven't had to use him overall. And it's kind of been, you did it with foresight, and then you get burned with hindsight.
I like that.
Yes, I like that. That's a quote I'm writing down. I'm attaching your name to it, my man. That was a good one right there. Man, listen, this has been a heck of a week, Batman. I mean, we had OJ McDuffie on Tuesday on the show.
Good dude.
And
really good dude.
Great guy.
I try to best guys I've covered, man. He's a really good dude.
Well, listen, I mean, as you know, because he was on your show, and I'm sure you guys before he came on your show, you guys have known each other for a while.
Yeah.
One thing I liked and noticed about OJ, very humble guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys that does not act like, his shit doesn't stink. You know what I mean? Like, not to
blue collar. He's earned everything. He's blue collar.
Man. Yes. Very respectful, man. I really enjoyed his company. And then flash 2 days later, we got the Big O himself here, man. Which, by the way, me and Batman are both Cuban descents. Very, very, for like when we say we've watched you, I know I've watched you for a very long time. I looked up to you and how you do business, and that's one thing I've always wanted to do is stay true to my beliefs. And our channel, our show is, and you're right, we get a lot of flack for being called homers, wearing our homer hats. But I mean, at the same token, we're objective if we need to be. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you know how much flack I get for this jersey right here? Like it's
You'll laugh last.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully, man. Listen, it's autographed too. I got also a lot of people are gonna kill me for this, but Minka is a great safety. Javon Holland is on his way. In my eyes.
Oh, think about being the general manager.
Yeah.
Draft Minka. Yeah. Shit, now I gotta trade him. What? I'm forced to, what? What do you mean? This guy doesn't get along. Nobody can convince him. Like, what do you want us to do? And then he's got to leave. And then they go and draft Javon Holland. They've drafted 2 of the 5 best young safeties in the NFL in the last 5-7 years. They're top 5, right? In the last 5-7 years of the guys that have come out in the draft, easily top 5. That dude drafted him. By the way, that dude also drafted X. Just throw it in there, but whatever. So,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So he missed on Noah. Oh my God, he sucks. That's the other thing I love about this effing whole thing. Oh, the 2020 draft. Well, what about the 2021, mother effer? Yeah. That means he hit 50%. Okay. And by the way, in that draft of the Tua draft, nobody talks about Raekwon Davis. Nobody talks about Brandon Jones. You know what I mean? It's like It's hilarious.
It's a narrative. It's a narrative.
Don't count either part of that draft. I get it, dude. I get it. We're waiting for Jackson. He's been terrible. We're waiting for Tua. And who's the third guy?
Noah.
And Noah.
Noah. Yep.
I get it. But then the following year, he hits on all 3. But those narratives, selective memory. So if you tell them, those people tell you, but he missed on all 3 in 2020. Okay, he hit on all 3 in 21. So if you hit on 50% of your first rounders, what do you think that is? And if anybody tells you that's bad, you punch them in the face. Okay, because go through your first round every year, and I bet you maybe 30% are successful. Maybe.
I mean, no one talks about New England. This is one of the reasons why New England almost every year, if not every other year, gets rid of their first round pick because they kind of have that Pat Riley mentality where I rather trade for a known commodity than draft something unknown because it's not a given. Listen, and this is why.
But it also helps when you suck at drafting.
Yeah, they're not good at drafting in the first round. They're not good at drafting in the first round.
Belichick is
they really are not.
He actually is. It's amazing because he's benefited from either trades, players that in other places they're out of place, and then he brings them over because now he's watched them and now they fit. He's done a marvelous job of making it up with street free agents and trades, and now he's spent.
You got people wanting to punch mother effers now, bro.
Yeah, and by the way, last year he panicked by spending all that money, which he had never done. And that was the Tom Brady effect.
The Tom Brady effect. Yes, sir. He's trying to catch Shula, too. So,
yeah.
Big O has everyone in the comment section ready to punch mother effers now.
I mean, no, seriously, dude. You hit on half your first round.
You're right. You're 100% right.
Okay. But that draft wasn't only the 3 first rounders. There were other guys in that draft that he hit on. So, like give him credit on those guys too. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, by the way, he also found Brandon Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow or another, they know how to find like defensive backs. You know what I mean? So, I'm sorry he missed on Noah, but he hit on Fitz, on Holland, on X, on what's it called?
Nick Needham undrafted. Nick Needham undrafted.
Miles Gaskin
and Brandon Jones. Now, no, but I'm just talking about secondary.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like they F with you with Noah, but then give them all those other names. And then watch them shut the hell up, because just do the numbers, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you miss on Noah, but you hit on all the other guys I talked about, what the hell is your problem?
Christian Wilkins.
You want every pick to hit? I mean, I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. And without flow, look at the offseason that these guys had.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap, dude. This
it.
offseason would have never come with flow, man.
Exactly. That's the key thing right there you just said, because a lot of people say Flo could have done the same exact thing with his offense, and I disagree wholeheartedly. And I love Flo, and I did love Flo. When we got him that first year, I was happy.
Yeah, so did I.
But,
Yeah, and I love Gase the first year too. But then you analyze and you sit back and you see, does it get better? Where are we going? How is this being handled? And then things change, and you have to then look at it and say, yeah, this isn't working.
Not a lot of people, it's crazy because, like I said, I listen to your show every day, religiously. Sin mentira. One of the things that frustrates me as a fan is, Batman touched on it and you mentioned it too. This has been, I don't remember the last time we usually get 1 star, sprinkle in with a couple, Walmart, this was the first time I've ever seen since I can remember. Maybe you can attest to this. I don't think we got Cedric Wilson, Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Alec Ingold, Chase Edmonds, Trent Sherfield, Mostert.
From home.
Sony Michel. You got him a few weeks ago.
Remember, we're at a point where it's the time for development is done. And so you have to find out now the next 2 years with Tua, because you have to pay him. And so you can't waste time. So they fast forward by getting real offensive coaches, getting a real offense around the kid, so they could try to win, actually. Because if you're a 9 or 10 win team and you get a real coaching staff and an offensive line and a running game, I think Tua makes you an 11, 12, 13 win team. I know. I get it, dude. I get it. I'm crazy.
No.
I don't know.
Tell him my record. Tell him my prediction, Batman.
Listen. I'm 11-6. 2 years in a row. I've put the record on point, and we've been on point. I'm at 11-6. Gio's at 14-3. Yeah, and that's before training.
I'm crazy, man.
I just think they really can, and they have to do it. They have to do it, because once you pay the quarterback, all hell breaks loose, dude.
It becomes difficult.
You can't have the same flexibility. That's why now what I love, if he doesn't fit, we got picks next year for the quarterback. Screw you, dude. How about they kick ass and you use those picks to make them even better, become a Super Bowl team? That's what they're thinking of doing. That's how they're
the best linebackers.
That's how they built this offense right now. They say continuity on defense and special teams. Let's fix what's broken, the offense. Right. So if you fix that and you get to the playoffs, now you can measure your team, measure your quarterback, measure everything else, and now you can find out what the hell you have. They don't have time to keep investing in a whole bunch of picks and waiting for them to develop. They have drafted their foundation. Now it's time to move on.
Of course.
Yeah,
Big O, we want to thank you, honestly. I know you want to watch the game.
Yes.
Before
yes, I'm sorry, man. Listen, I'll tell us Cubans.
We can talk all day.
I'm a real sports fan. I really like to watch sports.
Big O, listen, my wife is making coladita in the background. She was about to come out with some coffee and keep you for another 20 minutes, my friend. You know how us Cubans are. Like, if
Yes.
If you don't tell me, I'll keep you here for another hour by accident, bro.
That legal cocaine will keep me going to 1 a.m. probably.
Big O, what's your take on who you think the Warriors ended tonight, or you think I'll go to Game 7?
I took Warriors +4 tonight. I think they will, actually. I think the last game was kind of inspirational for all the other guys. I think they're going to go in there and get it done. I don't know what the score is right now, but I like the Warriors tonight. I really do. I think they're gonna find a way to get it done. But dude, it's been wacky. So who knows what
to say the least. To say the least.
Yes, it has. I have one last thing for you before we allow you to tell everybody where they can find you, where they can go. Obviously, they know, but in case they know where to go get you. Leave us with a bold prediction. Whatever you want, give us a bold Miami Dolphins prediction.
Dolphins make the playoffs. Tua will throw 34 touchdowns, and he'll throw for over 4,000 yards, and they will have a balanced offense, and it'll be a fun time, boys and girls. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun watching Tua play well, and those that gave up on him, I think are going to eat a lot of crow. And so that's my bold prediction that I think Tua is going to have a kick-ass year this year, and we're going to the playoffs.
Write that down, Batman. 34 touchdowns from the Big O.
He's close to my numbers. Very close to my numbers. Very close to my numbers. Big O, just let everybody know, for those that don't know where to find you, social media. Listen, you have a big fan base. You don't need me to tell you that. Everybody here loves you. We appreciate everything you do, the great work you do on the Big O Show, and for this community. And continue your success. Continue your success because you're doing great things in this community. Just let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, we're on every day at 10 a.m. Right here on YouTube at Big O Radio Show. You can find us there. Please subscribe at Big O Radio Show. Help us grow there. We've got all the insiders, man, from Ian Rappaport, Jordan Schultz, Matt Verderam. We've got 5 different Miami Dolphin insiders that are exclusive to us. They can't be heard anywhere else on radio. You won't hear them locally anywhere else. And then if you follow the Heat, we have Ira Winderman, we have Clay Ferraro, we have Anthony Chang, we have George Richards and David Dwart covering hockey. We have Craig Mish covering the Marlins. We have Manny Navarro covering the Canes. We have all the exclusive insiders. We have the best insiders in town. Wolf. Just Cameron Wolf. Well, we got Cameron Wolf, Marcel Louis Jacques, Omar Kelly, Alan Poupar, and Joe Shad. Joe Shad will return. He's awesome. And I'm adding, and we're not done yet, but we're going to keep adding more and more elements to the show. There's a Cane show coming. There's a Dolphin show coming. We're going to have a Dolphin roundtable show with all the insiders once a month at a bar in South Florida. So it's going to be a blast. Yeah, we're going to do a lot of things. We're looking to grow. It's just, slowly but surely, we just crossed our 1-year anniversary on June 14th when we reached.
Did you just break news? Did you just break some news here? I don't think I've heard you say round table out here.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's it's coming.
That's amazing, man. That's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We are trying to finalize the right bar to be our sponsor for it, because we want a bar where a lot of fans can go and get together with all the insiders in one place once a month. And it'll be on YouTube. So for all of our fans, because I always say South Florida fans all over the world, because I know that we have fans all over the world watching, and Heat fans and Canes fans. But this is going to be a roundtable. We're going to put it live on YouTube. But at the same time, if you live there, you're going to be able to come by and hang out and, meet Omar or Cam or whoever and take pictures with them and all that stuff after. So it'll be a cool setting, and it'll be something that nobody's ever done.
Right.
I've never seen it before.
Yeah,
that's why it's exciting.
That's exactly. So if there's a bar that wants to step up, we're in the middle of fighting all of that. We want to get it done for the football season. So,
and you're going to be touring other bars too.
Yes. Yeah. We're open to that. There are other Dolphin bars. We've already done we did from Slattery's in New York, Tommy Rocker's in Las Vegas, which, yes, it is a Dolphins bar. And in Flagler Beach, Tortugas, which is a Dolphin bar. There's a bar that we might be in Ocala, actually, for the Tampa Bay game, the preseason game. We might be up there for
I'm
that.
probably going to be up there. Yeah, it's awesome.
So, yeah. So we'll be there.
I will try my hardest. Listen, man, the biggest mistake you told me was find me a bar, because I am going to do my hardest. You need to ask Omar. I've been trying to look. Listeners, if you guys know, I don't think there's a specific Dolphins bar in Reno. Which is crazy to me.
I don't know.
Maybe think so.
You never know.
Start one. You got to start one, Gio.
Right. I'm trying to. I don't even think there's a Reno Dolphin Club. But I'm trying to see if I can get all that down and check it out and do some homework, do some research. But I will try to get you to come to Reno, my man, because Vegas, I will try to make that drive, but it is 8 hours. So
I didn't realize it was 8 hours. Holy shit.
It is ridiculous. When I first moved here, I thought Vegas was 4 hours away at most. No, it's 8 hours, my man. So but I will try. And Big O.
Well, I'm gonna see the Black Keys are there that week. So I don't know if you're a Black Keys fan. So, just in case. Maybe there's a concert or something while you're there. So there's another.
I have to. If there's a concert, my wife may be more likely to say, yeah, let's take the road trip. So I have to check if there's a concert, because if there's a concert, win-win. Chicken dinner. I'm there.
If she's a Young the Giant fan, which I like Young the Giant, problem is they're the same night as the Black Keys. So I'm going to the Black Keys instead.
I will check it out. I'll ask her, man. I'll check it out. I'll scroll
That's the beauty of Vegas, bro. That's the beauty of Vegas. There's always
something going on. Yeah. So listen, again, we love having you out here. We hope we can do this again. I definitely enjoyed this. It was a great pleasure. And fins up, my man. Listen, you've been great having on the show. Keep doing your thing. You're crushing it. You're shutting down you do know that you're shutting down every sports radio in South Florida, right? There's no competition.
They shut down themselves, dude. They're not spending any money.
You're right.
They don't.
You're right.
They don't care about our community whatsoever. It's just a corporation using a vessel for national purposes, and they're
making it easy. Yeah.
Yeah, they sprinkle in a couple of hosts, and that's it. But they don't care at all, dude. They're putting zero effort into covering South Florida. That's why we're growing, because we have built it up. We've got, I think, over 20 sponsors now. We've got 14 insiders on our show now. So because we give a shit, and we want to cover all the sports.
And it shows.
Yeah.
And it shows.
And we're going to travel like we always do now for the East-West Shrine, for the Senior Bowl, for the Combine. For those of you that don't know, I've been going to those events for 20 years now.
And you will be at training camp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this year we're going to be at training.
I heard you say
you'll see me there. You'll see me there. I'll be there.
Yeah. So look.
You got to buy him a beer, Batman.
I promise OJ, I got to get OJ Yingling. OJ said, bring me a bucket of Yingling. Well, you tell me your specialty. If you drink, Big O, what you like to drink, I'll bring it over.
Newcastle. I'm a Newcastle guy. I like Newcastle. I like Sam Adams.
Okay.
Love lager.
Amstel Light.
Amstel Light.
Negra Modelo.
Oh, the best.
That's another fantastic freaking beer.
Dropping time.
I kind of like beers that got a little bit of
a nice kick.
Nice little
kick. Punch. Yeah. Don't give me.
And believe me, I remember these things. I remember.
Nothing wrong against light beer, but that's not my thing.
Oh man, hey, enjoy the game. We'll talk here in a few, man. I appreciate everything. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Me and Batman definitely appreciate it. And thank you very much, man. We'll hope to have you on again.
You got it. Anytime. You all be good out there. Fins up. And look forward to the season, man. It's going to be great. Be good, guys.